What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the CRWN Cinema Podcast. In this episode, we literally just watched the Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare.
I'm impressed you had that memorized.
I know. I was really worried about it. I couldn't pronounce it.
Yeah, that's one of the tougher ones we've had.
I'll tell you what, Guy Ritchie does it again.
Oh, okay.
You didn't like it?
I wasn't anything special, no.
I thought it was cool. I thought the intricacy of how they pulled it off. Also, the historical context of, you don't really see many war stories about other militaries. Like, you don't see the British military war stories. Because I don't know much about it, but I do know that Winston Churchill was one of the greatest leaders of all time, especially during World War II. How he was able to win and risk his job to be the first person to do a Black Ops mission to take out this ship. I think that watching it from that perspective and seeing that they actually pulled that off and did it, it's pretty incredible.
Yeah, that is really cool.
What did you not like about it?
Oh, I mean, it was just, just kind of basic. I mean, there were no real surprises. Just, it was just, I mean, I didn't dislike it, but it wasn't like anything crazy. I mean, like the main characters, they really don't have any sort of struggle, it seems like. I mean, no matter what they do, whatever mission they have. And I really am not trying to hate because, I mean, it's a decent movie. It's just, I'm watching it and I was like, okay. Oh, okay. Like, they never miss a shot. Everything pretty much goes according to plan. And even if it doesn't, it's not even like anything crazy that they have to do to like fix it. So, I mean, but it's well shot. Obviously, it's a Guy Ritchie movie. And, he can, I think Hollywood's made it clear that he can just shoot whatever he wants at this point. And it's going to come out great. Star-studded cast, which is cool. Yeah. So, I mean, just, basic movie, no real struggle, which is always just kind of something I look for in a lot of movies.
I liked it because having the character, I mean, obviously the characters are the most badass, like top of the military, top of the special forces killers that they hired. So obviously they're not going to miss shots because they're just like, they are the top skill level.
Yeah.
They're all
still,
John Wick.
It's warfare. I mean, I just have a tough time believing that everything that they do just goes perfectly according to plan. So that's all.
Yeah,
even if that's not the case, you're making the movie. You, like the director, the writers, whoever, just you could make it a little bit. There could be a little bit more struggle, just for guys like me who just got kind of bored.
Really?
Yeah.
I was fixed on it the whole time, mainly because obviously the action's cool. I thought the characters, they were funny. Like, their casual violence is always funny. Watching just like these badass dudes just casually kill people and just make jokes the whole time because they're just literally all insane.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I don't like it though, because it's just like this little walk in the park, and I'm like, oh, okay. I mean, whatever.
It is a British story made by a British dude, so he's like really gonna portray his heroes in that light,
Yeah,
it does make sense that it's not.
Guy Ritchie definitely has the history of, like, with a lot of his movies. It's just that everything pretty much like goes according to plan smoothly, and even if it doesn't, like, his characters are kind of like always unfazed by it. Sometimes that works. I always go back to the movie Snatch. But like, even then, like, you still see characters like kind of freaking out like throughout that movie. And you just don't really see that at all.
They don't freak out, but not everything goes to plan.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. Like, even when, like, so they have to destroy these ships, and then they find out they can't destroy the ships. So then it's like, oh, okay, well, now we're just going to steal them. And everybody's like, okay, that sounds like it's going to be hard. Like, no, but like, we could probably do it. It's like, oh, okay, then let's just do it. Then they just do it.
Yeah, but just to steal an entire gigantic ship with just like little tugboats.
Yeah, you'd think it'd be really hard.
It was hard.
It didn't look that hard.
Because they're badass.
Okay. I mean,
but I think, though,
I'm glad you enjoyed it.
But watching it, I think you have to understand the feats that they're doing, and it's also based on a true story, so you have to like kind of base yourself in the realism of how insane this is to actually pull off, and the fact they do it.
Yeah.
Maybe he didn't do a good job portraying how tough it is to actually do these jobs.
He did not to me.
Yeah, because I guess he was focused on the badassery of the characters. So showing them just being the best.
Yeah.
Then when they just do stuff with ease, it's like not as compelling for the
yeah,
viewer.
but I guess just for me, like, I just, if the characters, like every single character is just going to be that badass throughout the whole movie, it is just a little boring to me.
I enjoyed it. All right, what do you rate it then? Here we go.
Probably like I hate rating. Starting to realize how much I hate it because it's a good movie, like all things considered, but it's just
Do it off of enjoyability.
And Guy Ritchie, yeah, enjoyability. Like I enjoyed it, probably like a 5.9.
Damn, I'm gonna give it 8.8.
Okay,
because I really enjoyed it. I thought the characters were funny. I thought the acting was good. Alan Ritchson is fucking insanely massive.
Yeah. We got Thad Castle /
Reacher.
Jack Reacher. That's right.
How much roids is he doing, you think?
I don't know.
He's probably genetically blessed, and he's also on the juice.
Yeah, I can't like attest to that because I'm sure he spends an insane amount of time like on his body and money. Like I'm sure like he,
100%.
Like he probably doesn't have a cheat day. Like he's got
Reacher's probably paying for all of his stuff.
Yeah, and then he's got the best trainers. So I don't really know how much juice could be going into it. He does look freakishly massive, but again, I kind of think he's probably genetically blessed too. So I don't know
because he was big in Blue Mountain State.
Yeah, but it was college football.
Yeah, it was natural big.
Yeah, so
he's already had that nice physique, and then you just juice him up a little bit, and just literally doubles his size.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah,
I wonder how much he weighs. How much do you think he weighs? He's it's got to be 250 plus.
I would think
right?
so. Yeah.
How much does Alan Ritchson weigh? Think they have that information available? 230.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised. I figured he'd weigh more than that.
He's 6'2" and weighs 6'2", weighs 230. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's why people were they're very proud to have him play Reacher instead of Tom Cruise, because Tom Cruise is 5'5", and in the books, Jack Reacher is a gigantic unit.
Yeah.
So
that's what I've heard. I still haven't. I think I watched 2 episodes of Jack Reacher, and I guess it's kind of funny to just see this guy literally just walk around, just flexing out of every shirt that he's wearing, and he just causes mayhem and gets the job done. Pretty much like the character he plays in this movie. But no, I think my favorite portrayal in this movie was Till Schweiger. I think it's Till Schweiger, and we see him in Inglourious Bastards.
Which one's that one? Oh, the German.
Yeah, the the guy that's worse than a Nazi.
Yeah. And he's always scary. Just something about his face just looks menacing.
Yeah, but I just love I think the last time I saw him in a movie was in Inglourious Bastards, and in that movie he is the guy that hates the Nazis the most. It's just written all over his face. He hates Nazis.
He's a Nazi-hating German.
And then he can completely flip it in this movie, complete 180, and he hates the Jews.
Yep.
And he's the worst Nazi in the movie, and he played that perfectly.
But so I think
a good performance.
Stuff that was kind of underwhelming. I was hoping to see some brutality out of him. You just kind of got hints of it. You never actually saw it. You knew that she was about to get the main chick in the crew. What's her name?
Oh, it's Eiza Gonzalez.
She was about to get chopped up by him, but ended up nothing really happening. I was hoping to see some. I don't want to see her get chopped up, but I wanted to.
You want to see how I think whenever you hype up a villain like that, which they do throughout the movie, or really they do just when they first introduce his character, it's just it is known that he is worse than a Nazi.
And the stakes are set high.
Yeah,
too.
And then you see him, potentially about to do business with Eiza Gonzalez's character, and then you realize, you see how well spoken he is throughout the meeting. But you also have to remember, before that meeting started, he was washing blood off of his hands,
mm-hmm.
and then after the meeting, they show he had somebody.
It was a woman,
chained
I think.
Up. Yeah, it was a woman chained up, naked, and he did some pretty horrific stuff to her. So then you don't really get to see Yeah, like it's just hinted at how brutal he is.
Yeah,
but
because it sets those stakes up so high in the beginning where you, like every single time you see her with him, you're nervous because you know what he could do to her, and you're like, oh fuck, is he gonna do it to her? But as the movie goes on, you start to that weighs less and less as you have more interactions with them that aren't sketchy.
Yeah,
I would tell you though the dinners the scene where they shared the cigarette and they talk about the riddle that she left him with.
I like that shot.
That was an intense scene.
Completely silenced everything.
Yeah. I love how silent it was. You couldn't hear much of the background at all. There was like a little remnants of it, but you really couldn't hear it. And then they enhanced the audio of like just the lighters flicking and sliding across the table, just making it feel so powerful that she's so focused on this moment because it's make or break.
Yeah. So we should probably run through like what exactly this movie is about.
Okay, go ahead.
I was going to let you take it away, Mr. Movie Lover.
Okay, I think it'd be funnier if you said it with you not liking it.
Okay. Let me try and... Okay.
Obviously, it's Guy Ritchie, so it starts off and it's out of order a little bit, and it starts off with them on the ship blowing up this ship that captured them, or they noticed them.
Yeah, so it starts out, they blow up a German ship, and then Guy Ritchie, just how it's told, you know, like, okay, so now we're going to go back 25 days and figure out how did our characters get here?
Right, and the whole premise of the movie is Winston Churchill knows the only way to defeat Hitler because London's under attack is to use ungentlemanly warfare against him and break some rules and do a Black Ops mission to take out his big arsenal of ships. And he knows he can't take out the big arsenal of ships because it's just too much work and there's no way they can do it secretly. So he's going to take out the supply of most of the ships where like they get all their, I guess, stuff and supplies, whatever. And so they're going to blow that ship up instead, and they hire the best military crew possible of the most badass dudes to ever be formed. And they go through, and they pretty much successfully did the mission. There's some ups and downs, but
I knew, well, not that many. I knew you couldn't help yourself. I knew you just had to explain exactly what happened in this movie. But there you go.
That was the premise.
Ladies and
I
gentlemen.
just said the premise. You can explain what happens afterward.
No, I mean, that's exactly what happens. They have a mission, and it's supposed to be secret, and there's 5 of them just on the little fishing boat that they were given. And then they have to, lo and behold, sink these German, like Nazi ships that are being, I think there's like 200 Nazis in the area. And, you know, sounds pretty tough, brutal to do, and they do it perfectly.
Not perfectly. I guess they did do it perfectly.
Yeah, like never missed a shot. The only thing that, you know, that I said kind of at the beginning is that they find out like, oh no, we can't sink the ships. They've been like reinforced with a lot of steel. So now they're just unsinkable. And then they just kind of talk a little bit and they're like, okay, we're just going to steal them then. And then they do. And like nobody dies.
One guy got shot in the shoulder.
Oh no. No, but again, if it's based on a true story, like you can't, I get that it's got to be accurate, but like, damn, if that was like the first ever Black Ops mission and it went that smoothly.
No wonder why it
props.
No wonder why it took off.
Yeah.
No wonder why Black Ops missions blew up.
Yeah. Eiza Gonzalez plays the love of my life. No, I won't be simping that hard, but she looked good. Yeah, she looked really good.
I like whenever Henry Cavill's character says you're overdressed and underdressed at the same time. You're wearing too fancy of clothes and you're also wearing too many clothes. Yeah,
and then she ends up marrying him. I guess she also liked that
in real life. Yeah, and you don't see this in the movie, but in real life, they got married.
Yeah.
But, you know, it is a true story, so I do wonder if that's really just how smooth it went, and Guy Ritchie had no really... that's the best he could workshop it.
Maybe. Yeah, we'd have to do some research. I wish Scott was here right now.
I wonder if, though, I think maybe if you knew more about Winston Churchill's story and like the World War II battle and like what he did for the war to win against Hitler, maybe it would be more enjoyable because maybe it just assumes that you know how insane this actual feat is. Because I agree that the movie really doesn't do a great job of like showing you how insane this mission is. You can infer it because obviously you're knowing what's happening and you can't even imagine doing it yourself. But the way the guys do it, I do agree it's pretty easy for them to do it.
Yeah, I think like, what if another director had been in charge of this? And then I think, like a Quentin Tarantino, like if he had taken this movie, what he would have done with it, I think he definitely would have shown a lot more brutality
Mm-hmm.
and a lot more hardships. Maybe the characters not being so, like, I get when you have like that one character that's kind of unfazed. And obviously when I think of, Nazi killing movies, I always go back to Inglourious Bastards.
Mm-hmm.
And for the most part, the character that everybody thinks of that's like always kind of cool, calm, and collected is Brad Pitt's character.
Mm.
And like, that's funny. But when you just have like a whole cast of characters that are just all like that,
Yeah.
to me, I get a little bored with it.
I'd agree. It was funny in the beginning, and it was nice seeing them all kind of just joke around. But then as the movie progresses, you do kind of want some differing personalities within these people, because again, they're like, but they set that up because Henry Cavill says the crew that I need for this mission, they're all mad. They're all just like him, so it makes sense. But from an enjoyability standpoint, watching it as the audience, you definitely want some diversity with the cast. Maybe them fighting about some shit. If they're mad, let's see them bicker about this plan. Like, let's see them alpha each other out because they're all the top tier of their deadly crafts.
Yeah. Because I think about, what's his name? Alan Ritchson?
Ritchson.
Ritchson?
Ritchson.
Okay.
Ritchson.
I just think, like, dude's like built like the Hulk, and he's just going around with a bow and arrow, and he's killing. I mean, his body count this movie had to be like 200.
Oh, dude, he was killing everybody.
Yeah, and like, it really was it just that smooth?
I think so. He's just that good, dude.
Okay, wow.
I did love the scene though. Because there's a scene when they finally capture the boat and they're killing everybody on the ship. Two guys shut the door and lock these Nazi naval guys into this little hold, and I was expecting that there's going to be a bomb. I thought they like rigged it up and they were just kind of waiting for the bomb to blow up to kill everybody inside that little area, but no, they just closed it so Alan Ritchson could go ham and kill everybody in that suite with his battle axe.
Yeah,
like they wait and they're watching them, and then all of a sudden you see somebody fly through the area with a bow and arrow. I guess not, he didn't have any arrows at that time. Somebody flies through, and then there's the Hulk with an axe just crushing everybody.
Yeah.
There are great moments, but again, I do think they don't hit as hard because I do agree with you on the easeability of them going through all these struggles is.
I've seen, like, I don't know. I've just seen more struggle in like a Marvel superhero movie.
Yeah, somebody dies.
Yeah.
Almost dies.
Yeah.
Something.
Like, just give me something to be like, oh, like, there was never one moment in this movie where I was like on the edge of my seat, like, oh shit, like, what's gonna happen? Like, never.
Yeah, I think I was never. There were some intense scenes that were good, but it was never like, oh fuck, like how's this gonna go?
Yeah, I guess the most intense scene was whenever Eiza Gonzalez, like her character, is talking to the main villain of the movie,
The German guy.
Yeah, and
the worse than a Nazi.
Yeah, and she like jokes. She was like, "Well, like, I am Jewish," and then like she let it sit there and like get silent. Like, you can, I mean, I could hear like my heart beating in that theater. And then that was it. I think that was the only time in this movie where I was like, oh, like, what is she about to do? And then that was it.
Because also the little twist there at the end is kind of the same shit as Inglourious Bastards whenever he caught that she said the wrong German word.
Yeah, like that was Yiddish.
Yiddish instead of German, and that's how she got caught. That was already done in Inglourious Bastards with the 3 thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
However they did it.
It was that.
And so they like put the American way, and then there's a German way where you put your last 3 fingers up, your pinkies up with a 3. Yeah. And so that kind of already been done, so that wasn't like a big twist because you're like, oh yeah, that again.
Yeah.
And it would just, oh, that was Yiddish, that wasn't German. She's a Jew. Yeah. And you're like, well, like, yeah, they caught her.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, I'm with you on there.
But then like he captures her, then the fortress goes under attack, and then he like starts to threaten her. Lo and behold, she has a gun like taped under her dress. I guess they never thought to check her. And then she just beep. It's like, oh, okay, they got him.
Yeah, now you're starting to convince me more that my score maybe should. I did enjoy it, but I'm starting to think my score maybe should drop a little bit because you are right. There really was not that much of a good struggle.
Yeah.
Because I remember sitting there watching it and I was like, damn, this is going pretty well. But I remember this is Guy Ritchie. There's got to be something crazy about to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And then, it was enjoyable all the way through. But then at the end, you're kind of like, oh, nothing crazy really did happen.
Yeah, it's weird. Like they walked in, they set out on a mission, and like they just kind of the whole movie, like there's not even that much running, I'd say. Like these guys literally just walk through every single like attack that they go on. They just walk through just like,
and even when the first time they do get caught in the beginning of the movie, they just blow the ship up.
Yeah.
And just it's gone.
Yeah. So it's just like, oh, I mean, these guys.
Yeah, because the bad guys never won one time. They never had a win once.
Like everything just goes perfectly according to plan.
What was cool, though, I did enjoy is the last scene, the ending, when Winston Churchill's sort of reprimanding them, but they're setting out a lobster dinner for them.
Mm-hmm.
And he's also kind of explaining what the positives that came because of they didn't follow orders. Because Winston Churchill is, I think, the most respected man in all of Britain. Even the people that don't like the government, I think, respect Winston Churchill because of what he's doing. And obviously, he's fighting the most evil person to ever live in our era of life.
And they do show like how close Nazi Germany is to like conquering Europe at this point.
Yeah.
So I get that the stakes are high.
But it was cool. It was cool seeing Winston Churchill walk through, and he's like telling them this, and even these like badass dudes that are in trouble, and they're also not really a part of the government. Maybe they are, but they're also all kind of in trouble. Like they're not all clean slated in the military. They all kind of have like a mark on their resume. And to have him come in, they're all like kind of sitting up, like, "Oh shit, Winston Churchill came for this?
Yeah.
Oh fuck." So that's kind of cool because obviously the power he has. So again, that's where I think you need to, like, we don't know the history of the British military like that.
Right.
So
I'll openly admit that.
yeah. So seeing that scene, if you know how powerful that moment is, it kind of makes it a little bit more. Like I've heard people talk about Winston Churchill and how awesome he was. I've never personally done the research or read anything about him. Honestly, I don't really know much about the history at all. But knowing that I do know he's a badass and he is one of the most respected dudes, that scene walking through, it's cool seeing all these badass dudes like, oh shit.
Yeah.
It's Winston Churchill. I like that. Getting their little lobster dinner because they just did the most perfectly successful mission ever. The hardest mission possible, but the most perfectly executed.
Yeah.
Well, all right. Who's your favorite character?
Eiza Gonzalez's character. She's smooth. I mean, she's cunning. She's witty. She's cultured.
Well dressed.
I like her outfits. The wardrobe choices in this movie were top notch for her character. Yeah, like she's badass. On top of the fact that like that's actually based on a true character. Like it's based on a true person. I mean.
Yeah.
That just like, that girl's got some balls.
Yeah. I mean, because obviously every man that you're going into these situations with can just overpower you. They're, like you're literally putting yourself into the most dangerous places possible.
Yeah, especially as a woman. Like that's what's even more terrifying. Like, the villain in this movie at any given point could have been like, no, you are coming to my house like right now. Like we are throwing a dark party.
Yeah.
He kept saying that, and I was like, God, this guy's not even hiding the fact.
Yeah, what kind of party are you talking about?
How fucked up he is. He was making it very well known. Like, yeah, like I turn the lights off, I'm going to chain you up, and I get to do whatever I want. Jesus. Terrifying. But it's even more haunting to think that, like, that is, like, the kind of power that, a Nazi high-ranking officer just kind of has. He can just tell all the soldiers, like, get out, lock the doors. And then if she just doesn't do what he wants, he can just put a bullet in her head, or worse.
Yeah, like at any moment he could just like kill her and nobody would care.
Yeah,
because she's not a ranking official; she's just some other person.
Yeah,
like the other two, the Spanish guy and the Italian guy. whenever they were criticizing him for having the boat get stolen, he just shot him and killed him. So obviously he don't care. He can kind of do whatever the hell he wants.
Yeah.
But he really wanted that dark party.
Yeah, so her character just being like, I don't know, like a little bit foxy, but also like she kind of takes control of the situations, like just pretty badass.
I loved her scenes when you can see her at work making like, because you know she's obviously seducing him, and you know she's doing some like mind tricks and stuff to try to control him. So seeing her successfully do it is pretty cool. Like watching her in action when she's like in a tough situation and watching her navigate the waters and just do it seamlessly.
Yeah, I think now that I'm really thinking about it, like her character was the only one that actually faced like a type of turmoil, because she had the most unpredictable situation in this movie, which is this high-ranking Nazi officer who clearly has everybody terrified of him, and so just, I don't know, like you never knew when he might snap.
Yeah.
So that was cool. Who was your favorite character?
I think I liked Henry Cavill. What is it? Cavill? Henry Cavill.
Henry Cavill.
I think he has an accent and says Cavill. That's why I keep thinking it. I think. I don't know. But
I just looked it up. Or I just watched Jimmy Kimmel pronounce it as Henry Cavill.
Yeah. Henry Cavill. But I liked him, and I felt like towards the end maybe he kind of was a little bit too corny about his like talking as he killed people and being so casual. But for the beginning, I loved his character because he was just like, it was me and you laughed a few times at him as he's walking around. Like I like when he first came into the scene and he's like, when they're telling him his mission and he's like, make yourself a thing of tea. He like grabs the nicest scotch and like pours him a glass and he's like, cigar? He like puts a bar in his pocket and he's like, a few more, and like puts them in his pocket. And just him just not giving a fuck because he knows he's needed so much in this situation that he can kind of do whatever the hell he wants.
Yeah.
And takes full advantage. So I liked his character. I thought he was funny and pretty enjoyable to watch on screen.
He's funny. Yeah.
But I was gonna say something about the her stakes, about her really being the only one that faced turmoil. You're right. She is the only character that. What's her name in the movie? Eiza Gonzalez.
The actress's name is Eiza Gonzalez.
Eiza Gonzalez.
Yeah.
What's her character's name?
Let me look.
It doesn't matter. Her character. She's the only actual character that faces trouble.
Marjorie Stewart.
Marjorie. She's the only one that faces real trouble. And the other crew, it's really the storyline and the mission that faces the turmoil. Like the mission struggles, but the guys don't. And we're following the dudes. Mm-hmm. So when you have like their mission be the struggle, but they just kind of flawlessly go through it, it doesn't really work that well, I don't think.
Yeah, it's tough. Like, because, they're just on the boat. So, I mean, things have to go better for them, like on the ground, for them to actually accomplish the mission. But I don't know. Like I said, like I just think it's kind of director's choice on how much you want to show characters struggling. And I think Guy Ritchie has kind of left his footprint on Hollywood in the fact that like his main characters, like he likes to have them kind of be smooth, unfazed, charismatic, clearly. That's always been like well known. So yeah. But even because Snatch is definitely like, that's the one movie that like I think I've seen probably like 3 times, like multiple times in Guy Ritchie's like kind of just the films he's put out. But there's even like comedic, and there's just better comedic relief in having like one character that like either keeps messing up or is like kind of questioning everything, or like he's maybe even just scared. Like maybe you just have a character that's like
super paranoid.
Yeah, super paranoid. Like he's good at his job, but like he probably hates that he's good at his job, or he's scared of it.
Yeah, he's good because he's super paranoid.
Yeah,
right.
And so like it's just just kind of weird seeing. Not weird. It's a little boring to me. Like to just see like everybody just has their shit together.
Yeah,
there's just no comedic relief. I was like, okay, so it's just a movie about history's greatest alphas of all time.
Yeah, because like every dude on that crew could be the main character.
Yeah, they all have like the main character energy.
Yeah, I mean they're literally the best.
Yeah.
Everybody's the best. They just have no faults. They're just like,
Yeah.
Don't worry, we got it.
I guess there's something to be said for that being true. It's hard for me to believe that it went that smoothly.
But it being a true story, it's pretty fucking incredible. That's how it went.
Yeah.
If that is
accurate. Really how it went. I'd have to look more into it now because I'm curious. I was like, was it really like that smooth? Yeah. I mean, I'll just Google it. I'll just look. I just want to know. Like, I mean, they just walked. They sailed in there and sailed out, and that was it.
Now, as from a movie perspective, it is a little boring and not as fulfilling when it's not. They don't struggle that much. But when you refer that back and we look at the history and we see the actual story of how it happened, that's pretty insane if that's how it happened.
Yeah, but I'd rather see a documentary on that.
No. Why? I'd rather see Henry Cavill be a badass. It could just be a true story. It could just be like a biopic. Like you look at movies with, biopics with musicians and stuff, and they're kind of, obviously they're told better because it's their whole life. It's not just one concert or whatever. So that goes awesomely smooth. But if it did go that badass, he's obviously going to document and show. So I don't give him fault for it being a little boring, because I think that's just a story he's working with. That's just what it is. It's just those guys were that badass that they actually made it that smooth in their success.
I'll have to look into it.
It was based on a book, and it has to be a recent book too, because it said that Guy Ritchie.
It was declassified in 2016.
That's right. Yeah, that's what it said in the beginning, that this mission was declassified, which is kind of crazy. How many years later is that? 50 years? 60 years later?
I'm not good with math.
Either way, that's
been a long time.
50 or 60 years later, and it finally gets declassified.
Yeah.
And you finally know the truth about what happened. It's kind of wild that they could just do that, just do stuff and just hide it from the people for 50 years.
Yeah, well, just wait till we're old as shit and they start declassifying some of the files.
9/11.
Waiting on it, man.
JFK. That's something that's wild they haven't declassified. That's been like 40 or 50 years too.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's not true. But it's been a long time.
Files are coming out, I think, somewhat soon.
They keep they keep saying they're going to, and they keep pushing it back.
Yeah.
Which is weird, because I don't think anybody that worked on it is alive now. I've heard that nobody that was actually directly tied to it is alive anymore. So it's like, why are you still hiding them? Let them go. Show us the truth.
Something's afoot.
So the movie was
like, surprise, surprise! The government doesn't want to tell us anything. What?
Who would have guessed? Who would have guessed?
Get out of town.
So even though it was super easy with the characters being able to do it, I did think his filmmaking was good, and the way Guy Ritchie did some scenes, it was nice. Like the scene you were talking about that wasn't as impactful as it should have been, is when she pulls the gun out and shoots the evil German in the face.
Mm-hmm.
He does like a cool little storytelling trick where he you see her shoot him, and she kind of knows, like, I'm pulling out all my cards now, like I'm either fucked or, but I got to kill him. Point blank shoots him, and then you see a gun whip around her, and you're like, oh fuck, here she goes, she's about to die. And then it's homeboy there to save her.
Yep, just right on time.
So
perfectly in sync, and puts a bullet in that guy's head, and then a bullet in the driver's, and then okay, and then they just drive through the battle, get on the ship unharmed, and they're all right.
Yeah. So, but I'm gonna assume that this is just what happened, and he's just gonna have to make the story what it is.
Yeah.
I think he does a good job with keeping you engaged throughout it, even though it does go so smoothly. Like, again, showing like that scene there, and then the boat creeping up, like who's in the boat, and it's them. You're like, okay, it's them. But he'll do these little storytelling tricks to try to keep you engaged throughout it, because I think the mission might have just gone that well.
Yeah.
Because it's a successful Black Ops mission that just got declassified in 2016. So it had to have gone really smoothly, or they had to have kept it under wraps well enough that nobody really knew about it.
Yeah, maybe right. I'll have to look into it. Regardless, just if you want to be a movie creative, I think you have to put your own spin on it. You have to put your own footprint on it. I get that this is all he had to work with, but you still got to make it more enticing.
But it definitely does feel like a Guy Ritchie movie, though. Like he has his specific style where you throw on a movie, you can guess if that's a Guy Ritchie movie.
Clear, yes, I can attest to that now.
He's always got cool camera moves. The characters are always super stylish. So I guess let's see if he wrote it. I would assume he wrote it.
I don't think he did.
He writes most of his movies, I'm pretty sure. This is a long ass title to type. I'm just gonna look up Guy Ritchie. Because I think he wrote Snatch, right? He wrote The Gentleman. He's on a tear right now. He made The Gentleman TV show on Netflix, and then he made this movie. Okay, let's see. Director, Guy Ritchie. It doesn't say. Maybe he did. If it's based on a book, maybe he did write it. No, he didn't. He was a part of it. 4 dudes wrote it. Damn, 4 guys wrote that? Maybe that's why it wasn't very good, because only 4 guys wrote it.
Yeah.
When you try to make a movie too perfect, like, you can kind of ruin it. You take the flavor out. If everybody tries to, like, put it's got to be like this.
Yeah. You could be right. Yeah, I just, I gotta say, I mean, I knew coming into this podcast, like coming in the studio today, after watching that movie, I knew I wasn't going to have much to say.
Because you just didn't like it. It just was not your thing.
It was just, I mean, there just isn't much to talk about.
Yeah, it's an enjoyable classic Guy Ritchie movie, but it's not like one of his must-watches.
Yeah, like the way that I'd probably put it, I'd go take my dad to see this movie.
He'd love it?
Yeah, I think he'd enjoy it.
It is one of those it's kind of one of those sort of mindless badass movies where if you just want to see some dudes kick ass, this is your movie.
Yeah.
Especially if you're a Brit, they probably love this movie.
Yeah, I bet they, yeah. But
definitely. Like, you think about like American war stories. Obviously, this is a tragic one that didn't go as planned, but like Lone Survivor, super hard-hitting American story. Almost every American war story is kind of like tragic, like some shit happens, but they persevere and get through it. This movie, they just persevere.
Yeah.
Have nothing to get through.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you're right. When it's like a war movie, I think there's always the aspect of I kind of want to be put in the war.
Like you personally want to be put in the war? Like you're saying you want to see the war?
Yeah, like I want to see my characters like struggling with how ugly things can get. And I think I know that never happens in this movie. Like you said, I mean, Henry Cavill's character, he's like just literally, I don't think we ever see him run in this movie. He's just walking around. He's got his machine gun and he's just popping everybody in the face and every shot lands. I mean, he could have just been whistling throughout this whole movie.
Yeah.
And I'm just watching and I'm like, okay, like this is just good for you, Superman.
Yeah. I think, do you agree with this? The first half of the movie was really entertaining. The whole setup was good, and as it got towards the end, it just started to kind of decline.
I thought the setup was good. Yeah, I'll agree with that. Like
the character introductions were nice.
I like the character introductions were good. The setting up of the mission, kind of what was at stake was good. I'm trying to think when I realized how exactly it was going to go. I think it was after they attacked the first German base.
Or was it whenever?
Rescue, Apple, whatever.
Yeah.
As soon as I saw like how smoothly that went, I realized exactly what the movie was probably going to look like going forward.
Yeah. And also like when they do get caught by the British and then the Nazis just show up and kind of just save them.
It's like, oh, never mind. Free to go. Like,
yeah, like let's see how like go through the battle and like survive it. And the ship gets almost tanked.
Henry just looks at like his little boat captain. He's like, "Yep, like get me away from this
as fast as we can."
Like a missile magnet. Yeah,
torpedo
magnet. Yeah, he says like, "Get me away from this torpedo magnet." And then they just do, and they just keep going.
Yeah, but the character introductions was really fun to watch in the beginning. Like Alan Ritchson showing up, and you hear he's badass with arrows, and then you watch him just pierce arrows through bodies, which is insane. Like he has that much, like he has such a strong arrow and that much strength and power that he's just shooting them through people's bodies.
Yeah,
running up, just like it's kind of funny. Like again, they're all just like super badass, like the most badass possible. So they're trying to devise a plan of how they're going to attack that base. And he just like walks past them, doesn't even listen to him, just like starts killing them all.
Just walks right past them.
Yeah, it's just kind of, it's just over the top badassery. That's pure and simple what this movie's all about.
Very simple. Yep.
All right, well, you got any final thoughts on the Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare?
You know, if you're just really not in the mood to like be challenged, you could go watch this. It's a nice movie. Like there's some funny parts to it.
It's entertaining.
The acting is good. Like if you want just a bunch of like charismatic people on the screen, like that's what you get.
The location's awesome.
Yes. Yeah.
To be in like a ship piratey-esque island type of vibe.
Yeah. You know, and you're not going to be disappointed. I mean, they win.
They do win. Happily ever
gracefully.
After. Yeah, it's good.
None of your characters, their lives are not in danger. Like they're not going to die. Yeah.
I'd recommend watching it after it comes out in theaters. I don't think it's a must-watch theater release. That's a good one to put on at home.
Yeah.
Get your own popcorn, maybe a little bit of wine, and just enjoy Alan Ritchson kill 200 plus people.
Yep.
And headshots.
Yeah.
All right. That's all we got on.
That's all we got. Go Lakers.
This came out after.
Well, hopefully they're still in the playoffs at this point.
Well, thank you guys for listening. Leave a comment and let us know what you thought of the Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare. Leave us a like if you made it all the way through and enjoyed it. Thank you guys for listening. We'll see you next week on the CRWN Cinema Podcast. We're out.
Trying to buy my next meal. Seems all I do is drive. And when the boss man sends my next